This prototype greenhouse was constructed in 1982 to demonstrate the practicality and viability of two closely related features. Normally it takes 30 seconds to 2 minutes for the cavity to fill completely with foam. The foam is created and destroyed when required in a recirculating flow path within the glazing system. Here we have an interior view of the foam generation cycle. The entire foam process is intended for nighttime use. This replaceable foam insulation system is used to achieve dramatic energy conservation results for a wide variety of glazing types.
Solar energy is quite different than the typical approach. It involves treating the greenhouse itself as a collector. So what we want to do is let the sunlight in and then capture this energy and then conserve it inside the greenhouse. So what we've done is we've created the entire roof as an active collector. The system of generating a blanket of insulating bubbles, that's quite original. Liquid foam insulation is a very simple idea. The bubbles are generated really from water and air. It's mostly air. And it is a very cheap and simple operation that we hope could be transferred all around the world. These technologies can isolate the greenhouse climate from the environment, whether it's a very hot climate, perhaps with too much sun. The bubble blanket can be used as a shading device as well as an insulator. So we look for applications in hot, arid lands, as well as very cold climates like Canada.
As a further research tool, we're developing small-scale, self-contained plant growth chambers. This one is located at my home, and we're using it to collect data and represents a first-generation prototype of a type of unit that could be used by universities for research purposes and by home hobbyists. We have this unit connected to the house with power and a data acquisition system to collect information and operating performance on the system. Inside the unit, you see two benches between an aisle, which under the bench we have a thermal mass, which is a water tank. And you see the bench here, underneath it is a water tank containing about 10,000 pounds of water. This is the glazing system, the south-facing glazing, which is a 3-layer of vinyl film. The inner layer is a double layer, the outer layer is a single layer. The inner layer, which is double, has water flowing between the two layers to create what we call a water-cooled glazing system. You see the water here falling from the interior glazing, which drains down onto the bench actually flows along the top surface of the bench, which we're using right now also to water the plants, sub-irrigation, and then goes back under the bench into the tank. The water cooling process controls both the temperature and the humidity in the module. Water that's transpired by the crop is condensed on the cool glazing and will come back and be reused for plant growth. This is a self-contained process in which we need no air handling or air conditioning to control the heat gain within the plant growth module. This is what is going to make it a very interesting research tool. Additionally, there is the foam system in this plant growth module. This is the foam tank. It's a small tank because we expand the foam 1,000 times to fill the glazing area. The liquid is pumped up to a foam generator unit, which consists of a fan which blows air into a pressurized area below a screen which is porous. The soap liquid is shot onto this porous screen from a nozzle located beneath it, and this is what is used to generate the foam insulation. Liquid foam is made by blowing air through the wetted screen. Bubbles are blown and move into the cavity space in the glazing system. The cavity space is about 16 inches deep and forms a good insulating blanket of bubbles. The bubbles prevent convection within the cavity and thereby create insulation by holding the air within each bubble. Additionally, the foam absorbs infrared radiation. Infrared radiation entering through the glazing is really the main source of overheating in the greenhouse. So this controlled environment module does not overheat when we have the foam in place as a shading device. It's a very effective shading device and reduces the visible light by about 50% while absorbing almost 100% of the infrared radiation. The greenhouse roof filled with liquid foam creates an excellent growth environment in bright sunlight. The potential for southern climates is very good for controlling temperature gain inside structures. In the north, we use it overnight to insulate the roof from heat loss when the temperature is very cold in the winter. The foam insulation has also reflectivity, which you can see here in bright sunlight. To switch the cavity space back to a high light transmission, we can destroy the foam by blowing air with the fan into the cavity, which dislodges the foam which is in the cavity and returns it to the fan where it's destroyed, and it's converted back to liquid which drains down to the foam tank.
this is the beginning, and it's a lot fuller than it was.
100% full now.
Looks that way. Already we can see the extrusion channel. We're going to see it better in a second when it gets into this open area. We've taken the bottom off, and here is our foam. Too bad it's not a sunny day today. There it goes. That's how quickly it runs. Here we go. The foam is back and moving towards the bubble generator. And there we have it, being recycled.
The thermocouple, which is in the wall, to measure the foam temperature within the wall. We have here the sensor for brightness and temperature at the wall, at the west wall.
Now that's the master one, the one we program. And then you have the slaves inside.
Right.
Hello, you're on video.
I did it my way.
Completely filled with bubbles. Hooray! Look.